They're coming at levels that we've never seen before. It is an invasion indeed, and this administration does absolutely nothing to stop them. They're coming from prisons. They're coming from jails. They're coming from mental institutions and insane asylums.
Can I just say, you had a great post that you put out there on social media that the newspapers of this country seem to have watched a completely different speech than actually what happened, because I saw a speech where Trump just after 17 minutes just went into being Trump, this angry, bitter, narcissistic, self-centered, arrogant jackassian of the epic level, which we've always seen.
They did not use enough sedation on him like they did during the debate, where they obviously injected him with enough, or they hit his Adderall or whatever it is they did, his amphetamines. I don't know what he does, but whatever that makes him him.
You know, the press is always on me because I say this. Has anyone seen Silence of the Lambs? The late, great Hannibal Lecter.
Well, and they did this, and then the newspaper headlines were all the same, which was unifier, healing the country. It's like, where the hell did you get this from?
Well, you were being kind in what you're saying there, because that wasn't all that I said in that post, and I'll leave out the 4-letter words. But I mean, this was a moment for me, sort of, I don't know, I should have had it sooner, and I'm sure plenty of other people did, of clarity. Look, I've been, a part of the mainstream media, you could say. I wrote a column for the Daily Beast for a while, a political column. I wrote a political column that was a syndicated one that ended up in newspapers across the country, the San Francisco Chronicle, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, the Miami Herald, places like that. And I got, used to go on MSNBC a lot more. I still go on Lawrence here and there, which is the one I respect the most, but that's a different conversation. But essentially what I said about the newspapers, and all of them are, I've gotten past now. So there are people who say, oh, well, the media, they really, they don't get it. They haven't learned anything. And that's always bothered me, because of course they get it. They know what they're doing. All right. These are intelligent people. So that gets me angry. They know what they're doing. But I always thought they were doing it, because they felt they needed to both sides it, right? Because they're wimps, because they don't understand, the fact that what a real journalist does. And they think that they were taught that a real journalist is a stenographer who takes both sides and they're equal. And you're really not doing anybody a service if the two sides are different. And one side, let's say, denies the results of the last election and is saying they'll do that again, and has been accused and convicted of, in a civil court, of rape, and a regular court of 34 felonies, is tied to Project 2025, which you really should all read. If you like The Handmaid's Tale, you'll love that. And that they should cover all this. But I've moved on now. I no longer believe it's about both sides. There may be a couple of them like that. I don't want to ever say everybody. I've now moved to, they actively want Donald Trump to win.
What this administration, the damage that this administration has done, and I say it often, if you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States, think of it, the 10 worst, added them up, they will not have done the damage that Biden has done. I'm only going to use the term once. Biden. I'm not going to use the name anymore, just one time.
I think that, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, as I said in there. I'm a realist theorist. And there's only so much evidence you can look at the disparate treatment between the two of them. If they were both siding it, then they would, after that horrific speech last night, they would have gone after Trump as hard as they went after Biden after his horrific debate performance. Worse, because at least Biden didn't lie. He just had a bad performance. Trump lied about everything and had a terrible performance and was ridiculous. But they didn't. They all said he was great and whatever. And the only, that logical conclusion, the only logical conclusion I'm left to sort of end up at is that they're in the tank. And I'm not saying every one of them. I've made sure to point out the Philadelphia Inquirer called for Trump to get out of the race after the debate, not Biden. Everybody should subscribe there. The Cleveland Plain Dealer has made it clear they're going to cover Trump as he is. They're not going to lie for him. So there's another one. But the Washington Post, New York Times, if you're subscribed, unsubscribe. It's garbage. They're lying to you. They clearly want somebody to win because, Maggie Haberman can't get those big book deals without Trump as president, and they can't get all the access journalism that they want, and they can't get all the clicks, all the stories about him doing crazy stuff and get all the ad revenue. And I really think that's all it's about anymore. I don't think there's an ounce of patriotism in most of them. I think it's about money. And again, I made sure to give you two good ones because I never will say they're all the same. And I said Lawrence was a positive one on MSNBC, even though I've now found most of them even to be horrendous. But it just seems like it's bread and circuses. They are ready to just sort of say, all right, look at, I mean, our revenue's way down since Biden's been in office. It was through the roof when we had the adversarial, Trump in there, and he would say crazy stuff. And I think they want him to win. And they're tilting the scales in his favor because the coverage of that thing last night is ridiculous. It's not related to the event the rest of us watched. And those of us who write speeches, there are a bunch of political consultants. I'm sure you read plenty of them on Twitter. Stuart Stevens was one who wrote ads and speeches for Republicans, in the past, and has broken away from the party, whatever. And everybody was like, this is the worst speech I've ever seen, ever. Mm-hmm. Like, I've never seen something that bad.